Hello there, everybody. It's me, Brian Cockerill, on the Brian Cockerill Show, the Taxman. I'm here today with a very good friend. It's Mr. Terry Dickson from over the border, Middlesbrough. Terry, welcome to the show, mate.
Thank you very much, Brian.
Can you just tell the viewers back at home what you're about? And
hello. Well, I've been described by people a little bit, but I'm a good-hearted, kind-hearted man. I was a crazy man. Many of my friends and people have come to my club, the Steam Packet, which I changed the name to the Scheme and Racket because I was doing well. I had a very colourful lifestyle. I'm a very caring and considerate man. I'll go out my way and do anything. Yeah. I love a bit of community work. Me and Brian were partners for years, and all that rubbish is gone now, out of it totally.
Yeah. Can we just go back to when you were a kid, Terry? What was it? Where were you brought up? Where you were born?
Well, I was actually born in a place called Inner Street.
Right.
And recently, behind St Hilda's School.
Right.
And recently, I've just had a sign on of Inner Street and put on in my partner's back and end in my road.
Right.
I also have the school plaque of St Hilda's School. Funny enough, how these things come to me, I don't know. But anyway, we were brought up with nothing over the border, but what we did have, and we had it in plentiful, was a community spirit. People were always there for each other. You could. Out went wrong, there was always someone there, to support. I could name names, but I don't need to do that. But just a fantastic community spirit, just marvelous people. But all our lives.
Do you think that's what's happened now, Terry, with the kids, that the respect's gone? Because we were kids, you got to go belt up, and it didn't do us no harm. And the thing is, now there's no like nothing to deter kids.
Well, I think kids get too much, but then again, look, we had now, our parents have now, so the parents try to make sure the kids have more than what we do, and that goes on to the next generation, and you do things like that.
Yeah.
But there's also kids out there with nothing.
Yeah.
Some kids have got nothing at all, and it's nothing for me personally. To go out my way and do something, to try and do a good deed.
Like we always say, don't you? If you do something good to someone,
goodness coming back. And do you know something, Brian? People believe or don't believe, but I've always believed in God. I like in my life, a lot of my life, but a big part of my life, I was running with the devil.
Right.
I was crazy, too crazy. I didn't give a toss for no one. But when people see me and approach me, they start smiling.
Yeah.
He's Terry, will have a laugh. And I've had my fair share of heartache, but coming from over the border, I would, if I had the chance to live my life all over again, and I'm in wherever, and God's there, where would you like? Would you like to live in Mayfair? There? I'd have to go over the border because I'm proud of my roots. Right. And I've got no doubt all our other friends, family relations, we're all proud of our roots.
What was it like at school? What were you like at school, Terry?
Well, I was obviously a top academic, and one of them as well, because I went to be a rocket scientist. Yeah. I was the most disruptive little bee in the school.
You're good at like the fuse.
I was a twat. But
were you popular at school?
Well, I was always up to all sorts. And there was a slag heap called the Green Hill, and we used to play on there. It was just where the iron had been melted in the furnaces, and the tip this, and we called it Green Hill, the plants growing up, with big boulders, dangerous really. We pushed the other inroad going to the top, to tip the slag. Yeah. We pushed cars up there and then come down. That was my first driving lesson. I go over a bump and take off 6 foot.
Yeah.
But just in the school, there's a funny story, and I always mention it. And where I'm going to come out with Donald Bazans. I'd won some goldfish at the Sammy Crow's Fair at the back of St. Columba's Church. Back of St. Columba's Church, and anyway, in the house, and my mum said, you can get rid of them fish. In the end, I took them to the school and gave them to a lovely lady called Mrs. Milburn. Loved the lady, really loved. I think she was my calming therapy. Come on, Terence, behave yourself. Terence, I hated that bloody name. Anyway, so I give a couple of goldfish, and I'd clean them out. Well, I was on a good thing. I was getting a box of Maltesers and 10 pence, which was a few quid then. Not a few quid, but it was good money. Anyway, one day Donald Bazans decided to come in with a goldfish. Mrs. Milburn, I bought you a goldfish. Straight away, I was on to him. You're not moving in on my little deal. So he wanted to clean the fish. I wanted to clean the fish. So I went out in the corridor, lines of sinks in all schools. Anyway, I put the fish in the sink, and they're swimming around, and all of a sudden, Donald's fish. Well, this is my side of the story. It gave me a dirty look, so I give the little squeeze, and and as kids do, God bless it, its eyes popped out, so I had to go in the class and say, Miss, Donald's fish has died. Well, he started screaming like a kids do. He's made it me goldfish.
So was that the best attempt they made you up for?
That was the best. I did kill it. That was the best killing. Please forgive me, Donald.
Did you ever get in trouble with the police?
Yes, I was always up to no good. We lived in an area of high industry.
Right.
We were surrounded by industry. And there's still all there. Well, a lot's gone, but there's still a lot of industry over. It's commonly known, known as over the border. But for those of Teesside and Middleborough, it's St Hilda's. But just a good place to grow up, But I was also, we all believe in God, and on a Easter time, I think it was, or the Corpus Christi, whenever the time was, and all the kids would get done up. Parents hadn't out the whitewash the sand shoes. So the Corpus Christi, I'd go on the flat roof with a load of balloons filled with water. so if anyone was hit in the head or anyone was wet that time, it was Terry Dicko.
Confessions are coming out today, Terry. I'm not a priest, Yeah. So when you were at school, Terry, did you have any ambitions when you left school to be anything?
No, I never actually. No.
Not like a footballer or
no. The only dribbling I do is behind the pub when I've had a good pistol. But no, I didn't have any ambitions, no. But I was always a climber.
What was your first job then you got?
My first job, believe it or not, was the mischief and the trouble I got into. I ended up going in the proof school, the Clipper Proof School, right, which wasn't a nice place. And I went in there, and they said to me, "Oh, look, a couple of weeks before, we're going to thinking of releasing you to look for a job." Anyway, I went home and the next week, and I said, "I've got a job." "All right, you don't have to come back." I got a job as a window cleaner. Harry Whittaker, lovely guy. And I was with another lad called John Rennick, and it was just an absolute laugh.
Yeah.
And I was the double of Billy Casper off Kes when I was a kid.
That's what I said. I said, he always reminds me of Kes and the remember it there when he was on the goalpost.
Anyway, and I have a friend called Kes.
You had the same shorts as him.
You could be Bobby Charlton. Yeah. But I have a friend called Kes, and his Facebook page has got Kes on.
Yeah.
But I was a double of him. Went in the place once and they said, Teddy. Oh no, they said, "Hey, he's Kes, he's a double of Kes."
Yeah.
But we were up to mischief all the time. One lad run away laughing, he had a little pointer ladder on him. The lights. So we were in just a full joke. I think
that film epitomises what we were like. That.
Yeah. People were now.
It's the same like you wouldn't ask your mum and dad for a present, but you couldn't afford. You just get what you got. Really.
The kindly teacher going around to them, and I've always, I don't know. I had Marva's parents who always said, "Always got you in help people. Always try and do a good deed. You might do one for
I remember your dad. He was always joking and laughing. He was always offering me out every time I say, put his fist trying to fight me." But
the thing is that we always look out for people. Some people, I've got some very good friends around me who'll put money in my hand, who are still owe, by the way, and it will come back to you, who've been very decent to me, because I'm one of them. I'm one of them. We were brought up together.
Old school values.
And, and I've got to say this about the community spirit over the border, is that 40 years later, after people have left, and it's gone now, people still turn up for us border folk.
Yeah.
You don't get that. We still have that strong community spirit where people still turn up for each other.
Just to say something, I remember doing things over the border and that. We've just had a text just 5 minutes before we came on. It's nearly Christmas now, as you know, and Peter said, "Oh, Terry, I remember when you helped us over the border, and you got an award, didn't you, Terry? Can you show the people what you got?" Everyone doesn't get these for no reason, so his community spirit's really good.
I love helping people, and this situation started by a neighbour's kid nearly getting knocked over by a young lad pinching cars. I lived at Vine Street, and now still run along the bottom. Anyway, I got involved, and I told the kids not so nicely. Well, I told them nicely, "Stop stealing the cars." Kid nearly got knocked over. I then turned on and said, "Look, to my nephew, bring the JCB." My brother had skip businesses, and he had the JCB. Put blocks of sandstone to stop the street.
Remember it? Yeah.
And then they can't skid on the grass.
Yeah.
But then I put more down because they were still working. So I asked them not so nice. In the end, I told them straight. So
you
then,
also built a little thing.
yeah. So what I done, I built one kid, Daniel Dawson. Do you want to buy some wood, Terry? I went, yeah. I said, it must be worth 20 quid that, and tried to grab the wood. It's not that easy. Why? I said, you got to make a picnic bench. We don't know, though. So I'm going to show you. So I spent an hour and a half showing them how to make a bench. Them kids, I instilled in them kids goodness and pride that they had made that bench. So what they actually done, I'm in the garden feeding me fish. I had a massive pond. And next minute, I had one of the kids say, "Don't, no one better touch that bench. We made that." So I instilled pride in them.
Yeah, it's good.
And then the old people come and sit on the bench. So then I made a five-a-side pitch, a badminton court, running track, swing balls will come out my brother's skips. I made them a BMX track. I also made them a log cabin. And I got a friend, an artist, Steve Bell, to paint on the wall. We arranged it with dirty faces. 2 James Cagney films. We arranged it with dirty faces, not the dead end kids, which was typical over the border. We aren't the dead end kids, and they aren't the dead end kids. And I thought, the log cabin I built, feeling soft, there was a smacker, that's what I can describe it, sleeping in there, and I said, get out. Then I had to go back and say, your son, stay there as long as you want. I can't tell you where you can rest on the night. Stay there, put a board against it, block yourself and keep yourself warm. I don't mind. And you know, and that comes from God, I believe. But I think just doing your bit for them is a good thing. So as a result of that, as Brian said, I got invited to the House of Commons, taking the Stand Awards in 2003. I also was running up the Champion North Awards, over doing the same project.
Yeah.
And what the argument is, or what my point is, all that, you know, that just started off because a kid nearly got knocked over. But if people put their heads together, and people with community-minded people like myself, put their heads together, what could you achieve? And that's when I say to the kids, dig that hole. We can't dig that. So I'd have a pinch and bar or a pick. I say, let that beat you, and that'd motivate them. So getting just a text there 10 minutes ago to say, Teddy, we haven't forgot what you dumped us over the border. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah. Young kids now, well, with this lockdown, we haven't been going out, and I haven't been drinking at all. Yeah. And we're a double Bacardi course. If them young kids are about, mad the double. Anyway, the point is that, so these kids, you can instill goodness in them. But if you go out your way and you do something, you know, if they can achieve it. But when they realise they can achieve it, Brian,
I think what it is, when you give them a little boost and let them help you, I think they can do something.
Of course,
get out of the way, you're useless.
Yeah, yeah.
If you keep teaching your kids like that, then you'll go up, growing that way.
And the point of it is, so all that work I've done and what I've done, got invited out to Commons, Champion North Awards, them kids still love me today. But 10 minutes ago, a kid coming, we haven't forgot what you've done. We witnessed all that. I put a bonfire display on for years. But once again, being part of the community. Yeah. You know, you go to Martin, Munthorpe, and no disrespect to them people there, but they'd be looking for 2 or 3 people. Yeah. Everyone over the border knew everyone, but we were stigmatised, them lot, the naughty lot, them. Well, if you want to class as a different breed, that's up to you, but we know different, know better, higher, lower than anyone. We're just down-to-earth, genuine people who, you know,
chip in with each other, don't you?
Yeah, of course you do. Yeah, have you got up?
Yeah. No, it's right though, because I remember when I was a kid in the 70s and growing up, and we had nothing. We were all like that kid, like you said, Kess. We had no. You wouldn't ask you. Some kids, with the odd 1 or 2 kids at school, had everything. Yeah. And you'd have nothing, but you didn't go into your mum and dad because you had holes in your shoes. And you just put the plastic bags in your socks, wouldn't you?
And the point, what you just said there, you've got kids who've got everything, and I suppose they would be targeted in a sense. People had now, you know, I'd be a bit jealous, and jealous is not a word I use. No. Doesn't really come in my vocabulary, but you know, if you can do something, or if you can see something, see someone a little bit down, you know, whether they're smacked, covered in scabs or whatever, just go up and say you're all right. Yeah. Do you want a sandwich? Do you want a cup of tea?
Even helps me across a bit of shopping, open the door for someone.
I have a friend now, you know, called Billy Woodyer, and this goes out to Billy. Billy said to me one day in the Brumpton Down, he said, you know, Terry, I haven't forgot you. When we were kids, I used to send him to the shop. He said, you'd give me 50 pence for going. You know, 50 pence was a lot of money.
Yeah, but the shop was in low.
Yeah, I wondered why he took his time coming back. I want to kill him. But the good thing is that, you know, Billy's got a good heart. Billy does things for community and charity. So credit to him and hats off to him.
I think when you've had nothing as kids, it's not your parents' fault because we're all the same.
Yeah,
We're a
yeah.
big family, 7 in our family.
They give you better than what they have.
But the thing is, when you get older and you see other kids are off, and you want to help them.
Yeah, of course you do.
I want to help them kids, you know.
Well, that's what's been ingrained and inbuilt into us from being young kids. But coming from...
You can't see injustice either with people. You see somebody getting bullied and somebody getting blamed for something they haven't done and somebody having a hard time. You can't give people a hard time. That's what I say. You see these people who are on drugs and things like that, but some of them have been raped as children and some have been abused. So they take drugs to mask it, but then obviously they end up selling it and taking drugs and to sell
Kids
the
can
money.
be very unkind.
It's horrible. So, but yeah. So, what you been up to, Terry?
Well, I'm more or less, I'm retired. We don't, I'm not going down on my own, Brian.
Oh,
we don't knock on people's doors now.
No, we say no to see me.
I think you need more than a solicitor, son.
I've got a barrister called David Ashton. Hi, David.
Hello, David. But also, the big and Albert Pig going back for him. The last time on the Britain, people didn't know. But yeah, my life.
We've had some good fun.
Well, our friend Stephen Sears from Newcastle said that you've got to have humour in your life. When we were through there at the Irish Centre in Newcastle.
It's a documentary we did. It's on YouTube as well.
You've got to have humour. And well, Brian's Brian's on the stage and all that, and I was on about our humour, the laughs we had, and it was all fun. What
about my legs? You remember?
Yeah. What he done is Stephen Sears said, "Oh, Brian's legs were huge. He picked the car up." So I said, I thought, I've got to tell the story. And I said, Brian, I hope you don't mind. Afterwards, I thought he'd open me big up. I said, I'd go on a job with Brian. It was a good audience, a good crowd. Yeah. And I pulled his pants down and said, look at the legs. And what a fine figure of a man. But yeah, we've had some great laughs. We go to a place at Bishop Auckland. This lady was having some trouble. And she took us around a small road and she bred prize sheep. Well,
massive fan. Bobby and Billy, wasn't it? Yeah. My mum called Brian. My brother's called Bobby. So I thought, why did you call him Bobby and Brian? Yeah. Well, they're the biggest pair of testicles you've ever seen in your life.
That's what I was coming to. And Brian's legs are like that, and he doesn't walk. He walks like this ramp. To be honest with you, I said, do you relate to that ramp, Brian? Why? I said, look at the balls on it. He walks like. Anyway, crash and fun and laughs. Yeah. But that's what it was about. But we
used to have the steam pack. We had some good laughs, didn't we?
Great.
I'd come in and go, oh, Brian, you've done it again. And what are you on about now? He'd say, everyone's gone since you've come. All the tough guys would be there, would walk out and go.
They'd go, but
we used to be there all day, night, would be some 2 or 3 days.
I've got to say this is that Brian had come, he'd bring his own bottle of Bacardi. And I thought, that was nice. And, but I have another friend, boxer from Grangestown. We've also got today with us Marty Turner, a very good friend.
Absolutely.
Marty's took anyone out there who knows me, the Buster on me about no more you Buster. Bye. Marty's me taxi now. I'm done with you.
Different league.
Yeah, sneaky little twat. Anyway, that's another story.
Can you remember the night we went to that party on Saltburn, and then I had to clean the house and watching the pots and they went, oh, it's Brian Cockerill.
He's washing the pots.
He said he's supposed to be one of the Britain's hardest men. He's washing all the pots and made sure they all got a cup of tea each and a coffee and made the breakfast in the morning.
You always get one little upstart.
Yeah.
Brian didn't know about this. I'll have to remind him. So when it was like he'd give me a cup of coffee, and I don't really drink coffee. I said, dear Brian, what? Wipe my lips. But the crack and the fun in my life been about fun.
Old friend Chrissy Abbo was that night.
Great times.
I've never caused trouble with anyone, have we? But
we've
had trouble, but we've sorted out ourselves. We don't go to the police. We've never been to the police in my life. That time when he got killed in Tommy Harris, there was a mess, wasn't it, Terry? I never said a word. No, do it. And we've had loads of trouble off the lunatics from up the road, haven't we? From Stokesley.
Yeah.
And just horrible people.
Well, people have our friend
Alfred Lee Duffy,
our friend he's done, we're referring to Jamie Boyle.
Yeah.
I must
not being disrespectful here, we just give our opinion. What we think of this man is crude and horrible what he's done.
This man is not an author.
No.
He's not a filmmaker. He's never been in any film. An actual fact, Mr. Boyle, I phoned my friend up at Newcastle. I won't mention his name because maybe he doesn't want that. And I made sure I'll give him enough information that you were taken out of a certain film what was getting made.
Yeah.
Because you're not a nice person.
Yeah.
You're a crackhead. And at the end of the day, I thought you were a good guy. You had me over. You had him over. No big deal.
Yeah.
People have let me down before. Yeah. And I can live with that, But when you go running to the police, Jamie Boyle, saying that I've intimidated you,
Yeah.
you've got the two Kevs, which I don't believe a word of it.
With my friend from Hartlepool, Kevin.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Phoned my house and said, the phone does Buster, asked for his telephone number. Phone my house, that's for me. He said, you're dead, Cockerill, you're dead. And tell Dickson and Terry Dick, oh, he's dead. I said, what's that about? Like, he said, it's about Terry trying to steal a BMX bike up the a BMX bike 2 years ago, so I know it was Boyle. And the thing is, that 2 minutes later, he phoned up again. He started threatening my wife. He was going to rape my wife. That's disgusting. And the house down. We've got all the proof. We're at court with them. And the court case has been adjourned for a couple of weeks, so we'll go back there and we'll win the case. I know we will. See
where that story comes from with Jamie Boyle. I knocked someone off the bike 2 years ago. Well, when I'm out in my brother's skips and my nephew's skip, I was actually one day with me friend, my taxi driver, my confidant, our Mark Somo. He's passed away now, God bless him.
Yeah.
Loved our Mark, missed the crack. And everywhere we go, I go with my other nephew, Craig Nettleton, who's one of my best friends.
Yeah.
And we always say, lift the glass for our Mark. Cracking lad, full of fun. But anyway, I knocked the kid off a bike. I've got a good heart. We went to pick a skip up one day at Ingby Barwick, where we are now with Brian, you know.
Yeah.
And we it was a newish bike. I went to the second-hand shop in Groville and handed it in to the assistant. As I'm getting back in the wagon, an Asian guy went in with his little boy, and next to him the kid's pedaling out on the bike. I said to my nephew, Mark, you know what you call that, Mark? He went, what? I said, God's goodness.
Yeah.
We've come and picked the skip up to take the yard. That would have been scrap. Yeah. We've handed into the charity shop. They've made a couple of quid. Yeah. I think the 10 or whatever it was. Yeah. And the
good deeds.
And the Asian guy, with the Asian guy instilled goodness into his kid. It's all God's goodness. So I like him.
The thing is about me and you, Terry, I don't tell lies. You
no.
If somebody asks me a story, it's embarrassing. You just got to tell the truth. You just like me when you're on drugs. I was on drugs, I was taking crack and everything, you know. But I'm not going to lie about it. But Mr. Boyle's sitting there pretending he's not taking drugs. He's off his head. I've sat there watching him take Subutex on the table, sniffing diazepam, going to schools with me.
Well,
and that's the reason why I got rid of him, Terry, because he was detrimental to what I was
doing. Well, I realise that.
You said, give him a chance. Steve Ray said, give him a chance, which I did give him a chance. And Tony Grange at the church give a chance. I even prayed for them and everything. Yeah. And I'm getting abuse off him non-stop, and more and more and more of him, and it's just ridiculous. But it's coming to the end because I'm a Christian now. He knows I've changed my life around, Terry. And if I was Brian Cockerill, if that was Brian Cockerill 5 years ago, Jamie Boyle wouldn't be here. I'll tell you now. It's not a threat. I'm telling you the truth. But the thing is with Jamie Boyle, I have not threatened any of your family or your children. You've only got one kid. And I have not threatened any of your neighbours.
Your stepkids can't stand you.
And your stepkids don't even speak to you because they won't even come to the house because you're a bully, a narcissistic bully. And your wife writes the books because she phoned me up at Christmas saying, Jamie's doing this and Jamie's doing that. I won't go into all the details, but she said, to tell you the truth, I do all the span of the books. I do them. And so that's what's happened. So I don't wish anyone any bad luck or anything, but she writes
Don't be false and saying this when you're not.
Yeah, don't be pretending you're doing things. So and threatening my wife and threatening me. So we haven't threatened no one whatsoever in any way, shape or form. So we've even prayed for him on several occasions, but we can't help this man because he needs to get help from the
professional help. So what I was saying, Brian, when I was saying like Jimmy Boyce, I've knocked this guy off a bike. The story comes from I was in the Erasmus pub, which goes a long, long way back. Anyone remember the Erasmus pub? Not the old one on Newton Street, around that area. Before when the Cleveland Centre was built, and it was part of there on the Albert Road side. Yeah. Goes in one day, and Keith McQuaid, God bless him, one of our friends. I might have been with John Graham, not sure how, Ronnie Ball, my cousin. Yeah. And this guy says, they're all having a laugh, and this guy says, hey, you knocked me off my bike 8 years ago. And I went, mate, I don't even know you. Just let it go. No, you knocked me off my bike. Insistent to try and humiliate me in front of him because I was the littlest. Yeah. But sadly for him, I was the dangerous one. So outside, I went, look at me, third time, I went, come on. And we went, I walked through the Cleveland Centre to Linthorpe roadside, went down Jill Street and went, I would say behind Chris the Barber's or one of them. Yeah. Anyway, there was this brick on the floor waving at me. So we started to fight and I smashed his face in with it. And that's the violence what I was like. I then walked back to the Erasmus. It was covered in claret. And I said, I told you I didn't want this. When he walked in the pub, everyone was laughing at him. I said, go and get cleaned up, son. So that's the story what being twisted by Jamie Boyle, saying I knocked someone off a bike in Hartlepool. So first of all, I haven't been to Hartlepool. Yeah. Secondly, why would I knock someone off a bike? With a knife, by the way. Yeah. You know, them days are well
he just loves
never stole a bike off anyone.
Can I just ask you, Terry, how much trolling have you had off this man?
Well, what he's done,
He's got the police.
He's
Twice
telling,
he's got the police.
he's gone to the police on me, and the police said harassment. Well, I haven't harassed anyone. We live in a democracy where everyone has the right to the freedom of speech and the right to say what they want to say. And all I've done is explode Jamie Boyle.
You've never threatened him, Terry, have you?
No, I've never threatened him.
You haven't been to his house. You haven't been to any of his neighbours or nothing.
No.
All made up stories.
Because his wife would then he'd get it. Sorry, he'd force his wife to write the book.
What did he do? Could you just stop me? What did he do? Yeah, in the street when he was filming, when you spoke to him.
I walked.
You hit me, I'll get the police and all that on camera. Film him.
Film him.
Absolutely.
I said, go away, idiot. I said, wait there till I come back. I was going on the corner to meet my son. I told him. Anyway, when I went back, he'd gone. But I knew he would.
He did the documentary about Lee Duffy not long ago. What did you think about the 22 yawns? He sat there yawning, all sleep in his face. How unprofessional was that? It was pathetic.
And he's doing a documentary on Lee Duffy, which was absolute farce. Full of rubbish.
Yeah, lies.
Lee never ever said live by the knife, die by the knife.
Live by the sword.
Live by the sword. Yeah. Lee said that to me 2 weeks before he died. I said, Lee,
he said to me all the time.
He loved me. He come looking for me, and people a lad only pulled me. I don't know 3 or 4 days ago in the shop on Lane House Road where my missus lives, and said, "I've seen you in the documentary." Lee Duffy says, "My friend, Brian, my friend." I said, "My life's changed." Blah blah blah. And that it has, but I just feel as though that. We've all got goodness in us, We've all got it in us. Let it out and help people.
When you told him a story about something that's been like that, he twists around and he tells you the same with you in your book.
He twists everything.
And then what he does is his party pieces. He pretends he's making a movie with a Paul Sykes movie, which is absolutely
offered me rubbish. Offered you
told me it's £250 a day. You're getting everything. And I found out it's all made up story. It doesn't even exist. The movie, rubbish. Telling people now he's out selling J.K. Rowling. Yes, J.K. Rowling, the woman who wrote that Harry Potter. 350 million books or something she sold, and Jamie Boyle's out selling there. Amazon's phoned him and Amazon phoned him and Warcry Press, said they're the best publishers in the country, and Jamie's the best author, and he's better than any author.
The author that never was.
And he's not even an author. It's his wife writes the book, so he's just a complete fool. He tells lies to everyone, even himself. The guy even looks straight in the mirror. He keeps changing his appearance. 1 minute he's a joker. He's calling people with cancer, phoning them up and laughing at them on the phone, hope they die of cancer.
Laughing for how long, Brian?
200 phone calls in a week. This one man has got. And the thing is, we've got the proof. We've got it all.
How many texts? I'm interviewing him now.
Yeah.
This is
on my show. Yeah.
Anyway, but how many texts has he sent? Malicious.
To me, my wife, him and his wife have phoned and text and emailed to over 2,000, and we've got the lot on everyone's photo screen, Photoshop for the court case. Got the lot, and we've got other people who are involved. We don't even know who've made statements from all over the place, all different parts of the country, and they've made statements as well. So he thinks he's got off with it because it's been in the jail for a couple of weeks. But delusional Boyle, as usual, is running around saying, "I beat him," and he's been texting me non-stop with
before the court case, after the court case,
after the false accounts, accused my wife of doing all sorts of different things. But it's all come to the end. Jamie, it's all come at the end. No, she's solid.
But no, what I'm saying to you though, she's your weak point because he can attack her. He's attacking
well, that's what he does. He attacks women. He attacks other women that know. He's just a bully, and his wife's a bully. But she works for the Sitting Advice Bureau, and she's threatening people to get the dole money stopped.
Yeah.
And
yes, it's sad young kids.
Yeah, they're horrible.
But anyway, let's just say this to come back to where we were a moment ago. So regarding Jamie Boyle writing the book, he wrote the book on my Facebook, Laughter, Madness and Mayhem. And people have told me, say, Terry, your book was fantastic, good. Well, I said to Jamie Boyle, Jamie, listen, I want to tell you something. These books mean now to me. I've lived a very colourful life, a dangerous life. I was a crazy so-and-so, but, I've lived that life. But Jamie Boyle never gave me the chance to proofread them books. And he put things in that I was a wagon driver on the docks. The only wagon driving I did on the docks is if I was pinching someone off there, and left the keys in.
Just makes lies up all the
just time. Makes it up. And when he said that Lee pinched out the pound shops, wrong. Then he also said things about my nephew, our Mark Sommo, that
which hurt the family, didn't it?
It hurt the family, and you can't blame them.
The thing is, he knew it was going to hurt the family. He still did it.
Yeah. But what's annoyed me? Not that I want to know what's gone on is gone on, and it's over, it's finished. But what I find offensive is that. He shouldn't have done that. When I confronted his wife on it, it was taped. I said we were having a general conversation, So
what he does to people who are out there doing books with him, he records.
Beware
that he's recording you and taping everything, and then he uses it against you. My friend Kev Killy, I've known as long as Terry.
Yeah.
That's your.
Thank you, Kev, for the The inbox,
Yeah,
thank you.
and Kevin and me have been friends for years. He was saying Kevin was wanting to fight me. Then he was saying his son Jack was wanting to fight. Then he was saying his other son was wanting. Then he was saying Mark Hartley was wanting to fight. Then he was saying Davey Allison was wanting to fight me. Then all the lies in the world, people have been saying this and he said that, and he's threatening people because what it is, I'm computer illiterate. I was. And Terry was.
Yeah.
So what he done is he made a page called The Resurrection of Brian Cockerill, which I'm no longer on that page. I'm now on the Brian Cockerill page or the Taxman page. I'm also got me on YouTube, so with Brian Cockerill. You don't believe the truth about him being on drugs, go on that page, Brian Cockerill, the YouTube, and push the button, the Bishop of Snooker, and you'll see Jamie Boyle, the real Jamie Boyle, what he really is. The camera doesn't lie. But that man is torturing people because people won't do what he wants. He outs them, and it's not just me. There's hundreds of people.
I've never ever come across anyone
Malicious.
that's narcissistic, malicious, nasty, and he comes across smiling. Just have a look. He's getting fat on our profits, but he's not robbing me. He's robbing the street people who I give it to, and I've always been like that. But what I want to say is this: is that Jamie Boyle, we can go on all day and all month and whatever. We can do that, but but you've got to realise, Jamie, people are coming back to that, so you're going to get bit on the ass.
The thing
you
is,
can't go abusing people and telling people.
Leave people alone. Just leave people alone, but you can't because it's the narcissistic bullying in you. You and your wife, she's worse than him. She is one bully. She is horrible, horrible bully. She makes lies up. She tried to my friend who's doing good deeds for people. He's got his own podcast saying he was pinching money out of the charities he was doing. Absolute lies. He's jealous to death that anyone.
I'd like to say this. I don't know. Dennis Power, I think I've only met you once, Dennis,
fantastic person, Dennis Power, boxing trainer.
Or twice. You've been in conversation and I've walked up and whatever. Yeah. I think I met you twice. But anyway, you did the boxing for the kids. I think it was Northornby or wherever you were. I'm not too sure. But you've seen the side of Boyle, and Jimmy Boyle moved from the Thalaton to wherever. He moves all over. When he comes on top, and he said, Dennis Power, seeing another house move coming on. He's not liked. But I'd like to say a massive thank you to the people who've come and pulled me in the street and said, Terry, everything you said, Mark Pierce, with little mate John Pierce, loved his father. Lovely guy.
Another one, Lee
Marsh warned me a long time ago.
Yeah.
I've always found Lee Marsh to be a nice, polite lad. Very polite, nice. But why, that's the way you want it.
But the thing is, these people are all proper top lads, all proper top people who are saying what he is. I mean, Kev Kilty said it. He said he knew what he was. My Uncle Frank, I mean, you know him yourself. I'll tell me that horrible person, horrible man he is. But at our wedding, I was alone. He was in the toilet sniffing coke. We had to leave our wedding because of him and his drug habit. He just can't stop. He's obsessed with drugs. He can't stop.
But another thing I'd like to say,
that's why he looks the way he does. If you go back to his pictures of 2 years ago, look at him then, and look at the state of him now. And you know why he's in that state? Because he's stealing our money from me and Terry and getting off his head on the drugs, and that's how he's in the condition he's in. Calling me tonight. I'm in the kitchen, calling me names, saying I'm on crack cocaine. Yes, I was on crack cocaine, Jimmy. I come out and told the truth. You had a chance to put the record straight on the Paul Suggett show. What did you do? Tell a pack of lies. You had 47 comments about you. You only left about 12.
What was all
the comments are your own comments. What he does, Terry, he puts his own reviews on and talks about himself, but he's so transparent you can see through him. It's the same comments all the way on all these false accounts, but it's the same. Sir Jamie Boyle, he should be called. Jamie should be the Prime Minister, and Jamie's the best author ever. Jamie's the best filmmaker. He hasn't made a film. The documentary they made was made by Paul Suggett.
So Jamie this is going out straight out to you, Jamie Boyle. This is our interaction with you and everybody else to know what they're
doing. Call her my wife. Disgrace on you. I've never called you our wife. I've never called you anything. But I'm telling you what you are. It's the truth. I'm not calling anyone. I don't want any violence on you. But don't think I couldn't have had it done because I could have, because there's that many people asked me and I've said no.
I got a phone call last night. Do you want us to go and sort them out?
Yeah, exactly. I don't want that. We've had the same myself. But look, I'm going the right way, Chairman.
Anyway, we've had enough of Jamie Boyle. The point is, you're the master of your own destiny, Jamie. Yeah. It's silly what you've done. You could have worked with us all. Yeah. Good story. We don't need to make stories about Lee Duffy. John Graham, Billy Wood, all the lads will tell you, what Lee was like. Lee was just a big boisterous lad.
Called our friends from Newcastle. Being like Paddy Conroy, the grass, horrible fat grass he is, on about going and make statements and
digging the Viv Graham there.
Yeah, absolute. What type of man's that to do that? And then Jamie Boyle's obviously been communication. Then he started my manager Stephen Rains called him, and the lad's a wonderful person. Calling Neil Jackson, who's a fantastic man. Because I said to Neil, where have you been all day? And he went, I've been with him. He's been looking for drugs all day. So he's an absolute shocking. And he started saying about Neil saying, Oh, I've got myself a proper camera crew now, proper, and Neil's
Yeah,
been,
because he fell out with them.
Neil's got an award. Neil's been to America and did a 6 months on Jimi Hendrix documentary. Fantastic cameraman.
Let me just say this, Brian, is when you know, Jamie Boyle, I wrote them poems for Lee Duffy. I wrote them from the heart.
Yeah.
One took me every couple of minutes here, 5 minutes, about 20 minutes overnight. I've done a bit, next morning done a bit. Anyway, then I wrote another one in 10 minutes. They went in the book, the Blood Moon book, on the sole condition that he published a book, what I wrote for my little girl, called Ruby's Garden,
So you've done a deal
about
with
the insects. So how goodness comes back around. I met a guy called Stewie Armstrong, who was into bare knuckle boxing. Lovely guy. I'd met him the first time. He was going to do the documentary on Lee Duffy. We walked around to the site where Lee had died and blah, blah, blah. And come back. And anyway, as a cut long story short, the top and bottom was Jamie Boyle didn't publish the book on For My Little Girl. So I let my child down, which is absolutely disgusting. But what he's done, he put them poems in the Blood Moon book. The only reason they went in there, the promise of publishing my daughter's book. That's off now.
Did he give you any money for it?
No, I never got a penny.
There.
So I'm now suing you, Jamie Boyle, and Rob Brenton.
So is our case over.
So is Brian's case over.
And
Marty's, and other people are.
Yeah.
So when you got a little girl who's upset because I never done it, it's a birthday, but thank God for Stewie Armstrong, or I met 18 months back or whatever it was, Stewie's now come forward going to get it published. But you insulted Stewie as well, didn't you, Jimmy?
Yeah, you did.
So let's just
everybody
pull the curtain shut on Jamie Boyle. You know where we stand.
Yeah.
And let's come back to where we were.
Yeah, come there.
Yeah. So regarding my life and what I've done, getting involved in mischief, I was always burgling warehouses.
Yeah.
Always up to no good. Right. And Jimmy Carey, who was my partner in crime, right? I'm not saying he's got a big nose, but we have to wedge him in the doorway. But anyway, you get in first, Jimmy. Why? I was a bit cocky ass in case anyone in there. You get in first. Why? Because you've got more bottle than me. Yeah. What I meant, if anyone comes, he's getting caught first.
So now, what about you kept putting me first?
And then, for those who haven't read my book, I was crazy wild, and Lee Duffy come round my house. He'd had trouble at the bongo, and I was going around doing damage to the place and whatever else. And one day, I had a rocket flare. Me and Nosh used to let it. I'll give me his full title if you don't mind, everyone out there. Norman Victor Cornelius Howard. That's his name. Norman Victor Cornelius.
Don't say how long you live in Middlesbrough. He's going to be moving.
tell the magistrate why you done it. Anyway, otherwise known as, here on after, as Nosh the Nut.
Yeah.
Right? And I let the rocket flare off. And next minute, it took off. It's where the new Bobby shop is. It took off and risen. Anyway, Nosh was coming down Ormsby Bank, and he went over the border. Dicko's flipped. But I was locked up, I don't know, a couple of months back. Something silly. I'd never done out. Let me out, no charges. It was just a silly argument.
Yeah.
Anyway, cut long story short, the police officer let me out, seemed a nice guy. He said, "Do you know your way around here?" I looked at him feeling very insulted. "Do I know my way around here?" I said, hey mate, let me tell you the story. Do I know my way around here? So I'm a border lad, born and bred over here, proud of my roots. I said, let me tell you something. I said, see over the road there, there's a